Hello there, welcome to another tutorial video. We're going to learn about the spatial tap gesture and the drag gesture here with a simple cube. A tap gives it a different color, a drag moves it to a separate location, working with a volume space, which makes it very simple to implement. Let's check it out. Right there, let's start a brand new project. Let's click into VisionOS and click the app. Let's hit next. We're going to call it tap drag gestures, spatial gestures. All right, we're gonna initiate it in the volume space. This makes it very simple, and we do not need an immersive space. Hit next. All right, we're in our basic code. Let's forget about this and let's get started. Here in our reality kit contents, let's add a cube. Very simple. First, you do a scene. We create a brand new scene, and we add a entity. This entity is a cube. And with that, we have done it. Let's do a 1 meter cube. We'll set the size, and we'll have to give it two additional things. And those two additional things is one, the input component for us to interact with it. And we need a collision component so that we can, we collide with it so that we make an interaction. And with those two, we are ready to save. Once saved, we can rename it to cube.usda. And with that, let's import the cube into our project. Here in our code, we can see that we have imported the scene here. Instead of a scene, let's import a cube. And let's call this cube. One thing we do want to do is resave the cube entity. That way we don't have to look for whatever entity that exists in content view. Now let's call this var cube entity. We'll do the static var cube entity equals entity. And here, when we create the cube, let's add it to our content view dot cube entity equals cube. And with that, we are looking good. There are some issues with the preview file for some reason. Let's close that for now. All right, so we looked into the error, and it seems that our cube is a little too big for our volume space. Let's shrink it back into a smaller cube. Let's try for 0.2 meters. Okay, here back in our cube, let's take a look. We have set the cube to 0.2 meters, and we've gone back in to look at the simulator, and it is appropriate size, and now we can enlarge it and shrink it properly. Okay, now we want to change the color of the cube, not enlarge it. So that means we need a state var that takes a color. We're gonna do a simple material, not color type, and that's gonna set it to simple material. And we're gonna call this dot red for now, and we're gonna set the metallic to false. We need several colors to make sure it's all random. So let's add those colors in as well. This is gonna be an array of simple material dot colors. And let's start with a couple. Let's do with, we have red, green, and blue. That's our staple. Let's do a dot brown, like that. There's also system brown. Let's grab that. This is going to be a little different from the items that we've chosen before. We have system purple, and let's do another system color. Let's do a system mint. I like that. Okay. Now we have several colors that we can randomize. And oh, what is this? Looks like it converts to UI color. That is an issue. Let's make sure that that's correct. All right, let's remove the enlargement gesture and add our own gesture. We're gonna remove the button as well. We don't need that. Here's the gesture. And we're gonna keep everything inside the parentheses. We're gonna do a spatial gesture, spatial tap gesture to be exact. And for the spatial tap gesture, we're gonna target any entity. And on the end of this, what we're gonna do is I'm going to change the color. And we're going to set it to some random color. And with that, we're ready for our gesture. With that, we're going to update the item that has a different color now. And that item is going to be our cube entity. It's a content view dot cube entity. We're going to change the model component dot self equals to a model component with a mesh and a material. This mesh is going to be a box, and we need it to be a little bigger than our item before. Let's do 0.3. And the material that we're going to use, well, it's going to be our simple material with a color of our color, and is metallic, it should be false. And with that, our gesture should work properly. Let's replace this and check it out. Every time we tap, we get a different color. Now, we're down to our final stretch. Let's add another gesture in. It's called a drag gesture. Let's do a gesture one more time. We'll add in a drag gesture. We're going to target to one particular entity. It's going to be the content view dot cube entity. And on change, we're going to get a value. And that value is the current space that we're in, as you can see. And you're going to update our position of the cube entity. So content view dot cube entity dot position, and we're going to set it to equal to the value dot convert. We're going to change the 0.3 to a coordinate space point. So it's going to be value dot location 3D from the dot local coordinate space, and we're going to set it to content view dot entity cube entity dot parent, and this will enable our drag gesture. As you can see, now you should be able to drag this around and move the cube. Great. And with that, we have completed our tutorial, and we are now able to drag our cubes around and tap them. The next thing we want to do is pinch to zoom and also to rotate. That's going to be in the next video. So if you would like to see that, be sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.